with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields, and I'll recognize Ms. Leger Fernandez for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Director Stone Manning and Director Sams and Comptroller Brown for being here today. Thank you very much, actually, for the hard work that you've put in that I think this paper recognizes, right? I want to see this as the thousands of public comments that you have received, the careful study of how do we protect our public lands and our public resources, because we must remember those are American resources. They belong to us. And in order to figure out how to best go along protecting them, ensuring that we receive the royalties that are due us, that we protect it for those future generations, that we honor the creation that they reflect for those who hold those places sacred, whether from a Christian perspective, a Catholic perspective, or an indigenous perspective. It takes time, and I know you've done that. So I want to start by thanking you for that work. In particular, with regards to the onshore oil and gas leasing rule, royalties make up a really important part of my state's budget. As you know, we have a lot of public lands, we have a lot of federal lands, and we benefit from those oil and gas royalties. Can you describe how drafting the final onshore oil and gas leasing rule, how did you make sure you coordinated with the public, that is, the people who actually own these natural resources, as well as the oil and gas companies who are making record profits right at this time? So you can tell us, can you share a little bit about the coordination, the input you received from both sides?
Congresswoman, thank you so much for the question. And of course, so much in the oil and gas rule that you see before you is implementing what Congress asked us to do through the Inflation Reduction Act, what with the increases of royalty rates. But we held many public meetings, both in person and virtually. We got over 200,000 comments on the rule that we pored over, and the final product is a result of what we heard both from Congress and what we heard from the public.
Thank you very much. And as you can see, 200,000 comments takes up a lot of space. I want to really make sure that we get to an issue that was sort of big picture. I want to get to a little hyper-local issue that I think affects other places as well. The Valles Caldera National Park and the Santa Fe National Forest. As you know, Director Sams, there's been a significant number of cattle that are routinely found in the park. I get a lot of texts and comments about that. In fact, you're going to be hiring wranglers for the next 6 months every day to gather the cattle up. As you know, in the state of New Mexico, we are a fence-out state, meaning landowners are responsible for fencing out livestock if they don't want them on their property. Well, I know you're not subject to those federal laws. It is a tradition, and it is important to make sure that we do the maintenance ahead so you do not have to have 6 months of wranglers in the park, and so that we can preserve the resources of the park. So can you tell me can you actually commit to maintain the portions of the Valles Caldera fence within the Park Service's jurisdiction? And let me know what steps you're going to be taking to address challengers or barriers to ensure the proper upkeep of this very important asset.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for the question. You know, I come from a ranching family. I understand the importance of being accountable for your own cattle and or horses. We ran over 300 head of cattle and 100 head of horses. That being said, and recognizing the issues that we face at Valles Caldera, we're working very closely with the U.S. Forest Service on a management plan for that. We're looking at how exactly we can continue to build the fence out, and then the responsibilities each of us will have on maintaining that fence. I'm happy to get that information and more specifics on that back to you directly in writing.
Well, thank you. And I think this need to coordinate with all kinds of different agencies and jurisdictions, including the ranchers, including the Forest Service, making sure that what we're looking at is bringing back, both on Forest Service land, the health of the grazing lands, and then keeping those fences up. Good fences make good neighbors. With that, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields, and I just mentioned that those are not comments.
But there
Those, those are the new rules that have been proposed by the Bureau of Land Management during the Biden administration.
Well, thank you. I just was pointing out that I'm sure that they reflect the comments that they've received, the 200,000 on just one rule. So thank you very much for the clarification, Mr. Chair.
Now I'd like to recognize the gentleman from Georgia for 5 minutes, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Stone Manning